Hi, my name is Diane Schuster, and you're watching one of a series of videos that demonstrate the capabilities of COZYROC's SSIS Plus, which is a software suite of tasks and components for SQL Server integration services. These demonstrations were built using SQL Server Integration Services 2012. The COZYROC tasks and components are available for SQL Server Integration Services 2005, 2008, 2008 R2, 2012, and 2014 in both 32-bit and 64-bit editions. For more information, please visit www.cozyroc.com. In this video, we're going to talk about the Netsuite destination component, which you can use to integrate or migrate data to the Netsuite service. This component comes in a package of tasks and components called SSIS Plus that complements the standard SSIS. In COZYROC's SSIS Plus product, we provide both source and destination components for Netsuite, which support both 32-bit and 64-bit modes. In this demonstration, I'll show you how to create composite objects, such as invoices with multiple list items. The invoice is the main object, and there could be any number of list items associated with the invoice. COZYROC's Netsuite destination component recognizes the end of the list items associated with the current invoice when it reads a null record. Now we'll take a look at the source data that I'm going to use to create the invoices. This spreadsheet contains the main invoice information. I'll be creating 5 invoices. As you can see, this sheet has very little information on it. All we need is the entity ID of the customers that we're invoicing. I've also included the customer's name, but I'm not actually going to use that to create the invoices in NetSuite. I just put it here so I could see which customer the entity ID refers to. I will be copying over the external ID. It's not required, but if you want to be able to use the upsert action in the future, you need to have it in there. Here are the items that'll go on the invoices. There are 5 groups of items, and each group belongs to one of the invoices. When our component hits a null line, it knows the next set of items belongs to the next invoice. I've already set up the connection managers for this project, so I'll start by dragging the Excel Source Plus component from COZYROC onto the canvas. Now I'll go into Edit It, and I choose the Excel Connection Manager. And I select the spreadsheet that contains the main invoice information. I click on the Columns tab, and here you see the columns that we just looked at in the Excel spreadsheet. Now I'll drag another copy of the Excel Source Plus component onto the canvas. And this one is going to be used to get the item information. I'll go into Edit It, and I'll choose the same Connection Manager. And this time I choose a different worksheet, the one that contains the list items. And there's the data that I showed you a couple minutes ago in the Excel spreadsheet. And again, I'll take a quick look at the columns. Now I'll drag the NetSuite destination component onto the canvas. And I'll go into Edit It, and I select the NetSuite Connection Manager. I'll leave the action set to Create, and I'll scroll down to find the invoice object. Now I need to connect the arrows from the 2 Excel source components, and we make sure we select the correct input, and the first one is for the main invoice information. Now we'll connect the arrow for the list item information. I open up the component again to complete the configuration. I go to Mapping, and the external ID has already been mapped because the names are exactly the same. I'll map the entity ID coming from Excel to the entity internal ID in NetSuite. Now I select the input for the list items for the invoices. These columns were automatically mapped because the names are exactly the same. I'm going to set it up so that we receive any error information and the results in a sheet in the Excel file. So I select Redirect Row. I'll use the Excel Destination Plus component from COZYROC to receive the results and write them into Excel. I connect the red arrow and click OK. And now I go back in and select the Excel Connection Manager. And I'll select a different sheet in that same Excel file. And here are the columns that are going to be written into the results sheet in the Excel file. And as you can see, some columns have been added, such as the ID, which will be assigned by Netsuite. And also it adds columns so that you can identify any records that had errors. Now I'll save the package and I'll execute it. And we have success. I'll stop debugging. Now I'll take a quick look at the execution results, and everything looks fine. We'll take a look at the results of running our package. And as you can see, the error code is -1 for all the records, which means there were no errors. Here are the IDs assigned by Netsuite for each of the invoices. Now we'll take a look at some of the invoices I just created in Netsuite. And here's the one for Anderson Broughton Inc. And here's the invoice for Aki's Construction Incorporated. In this demonstration, I showed you how to create composite objects, such as invoices with multiple list items, where the invoice was the main object and there could be any number of list items associated with each invoice. This component comes in a package of tasks and components called SSIS Plus that complements the standard SSIS. And that concludes this demo.